I'm the Science Siren. Welcome back to Shark Week day number 4. Today we're going to be talking about the evolution of sharks and how we got to understand what their evolution is. Obviously we all think sharks are pretty cool creatures, but did you know that their history is actually just as interesting as the present? Paleobiology is the study of fossil organisms. This requires an organism to actually become fossilized, which means it must be liquefied within rock. There are 3 major types of fossils that can be found: body fossils, trace fossils, and chemical fossils. Body fossils are fossils of parts of the organism itself, such as its bones, tail, head, teeth, scales, anything like that. A trace fossil is a fossil that proves that an organism once existed. Most bony fish fossils found are of skeletons, and this tells paleobiologists what it used to look like, how it moved, what it ate, all sorts of information about the animal. However, with sharks this is slightly harder, as they have a cartilaginous skeleton which doesn't fossilize as easily. Most shark fossils found are of teeth, dendrites, and sometimes spines found in their fins. These can still hold quite a bit of information, however. For example, the most common shark fossil are teeth. This is because sharks are constantly losing and replacing their teeth. A single shark can go through tens of thousands of teeth in its lifetime. Their teeth, as well as their dendrites or scales, are the primary method of identification and classification in paleobiology with sharks. The 3 main types of teeth in sharks are crushing, grasping, and cutting. And they all do really different jobs. So depending on what types of teeth the shark has can tell a lot of information to the biologist about what the shark used to eat, was it a predator, what sort of prey did it prey upon, where it lived, and all that sort of information. Another interesting thing about shark teeth is that they can vary in shape between male and female. So researchers may actually be able to tell the sex of an animal just by its teeth alone. While still debated amongst researchers, it is thought that sharks appeared in our oceans about 455 to 425 million years ago. This is very early on, considering that the first multicellular organism at all only appeared at 580 million years ago. To put it in perspective, dinosaurs didn't even show up until 230 million years ago. So sharks have been around much longer, and they've survived a lot more. Currently, the most widely accepted bit of evidence for the earliest shark is a set of scales from Siberia and Mongolia from 420 million years ago, the Silurian period. However, there has been another set of scales found from 455 million years ago, but these are currently being debated as to whether they can actually be classified as shark scales. Sharks are incredible creatures when you look at their history. They've survived all 5 mass extinctions, including the PT extinction, which killed 95% of all species. And even despite their large periods of adaptation, if you saw a prehistoric shark in a tank, you would probably still recognize it as a shark, given their general morphology hasn't thought to have changed much over the years. Although this is up for debate, as there are not many full shark skeletons. One of the most common types of prehistoric sharks, Ordovician, and please, I don't know whether I'm saying that correctly. I cannot for the life of me find the correct pronunciation on Google. Ordovician was around 1 meter long, and it had the same characteristic gill slits as modern sharks today. The one major difference about Ordovician, however, was that its mouth wasn't on the bottom of its body, it was right at the front, like most fish we see. Around 200 million years ago, sharks went through a period of adaptive radiation, where several new traits evolved and spread throughout the population like wildfire. This created several new species of sharks. Unlike some animals who have slowly diversified over the years, sharks reached their peak of diversity around the Carboniferous and have subsequently had their numbers cut down through mass extinction events. During this highly diverse period, there was a shark called Carcharodon megalodon, which you may have heard simply referred to as Megalodon. Megalodon is a very well-known extinct type of modern shark due to its massive size. It is known that it could grow to a size of 20 meters, and it is guessed to have looked something like a great white, although this isn't confirmed because the only megalodon fossils we have are of vertebrae and teeth. Paleobiologists are actually able to calculate the length of a megalodon shark using only its teeth. This is able to be calculated because sharks' teeth grow at a certain rate comparatively to their body size. So depending on what shape and size the tooth is, you can figure out where it was in the mouth, find the linear relationship that matches up with that tooth, and then calculate the body size of the animal. If that sounds a bit complicated, I'll break it down. So say you find a megalodon tooth, like this one here, given to us by Dr. Gilbert Price of the University of Queensland. You take your tooth, you figure out which tooth it is in the mouth, then you go to the labial side of the tooth and measure the crown height, as shown in this diagram here. Then you plug that into your equation, and out the other side comes the body size of the animal. This is really fun to do, and if you find a way to do it online, or if you come into contact with a megalodon tooth, I highly recommend doing it just for fun. A link to a website that tells you how to do this in detail is in the description below. All in all, sharks today are incredible creatures, as they are representatives of the animals that were able to survive all 5 major extinction events, and still be apex predators. If you want to learn more about shark adaptations and evolution, please look at the references down below in the description. And if you want to know where we got this really cool 3D model from, we have the link to that as well. If you like what you see on this channel, please subscribe, as we will be coming out with more ocean-themed videos. Thank you for watching this video on shark evolution. I hope you enjoyed it. Please come back tomorrow for another Shark Week video.